I didn't know that it was supposed to be a dystopian future until we saw this weird, bizarre laser gun. Hello, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Direct to Dumpster. My name is James.
My name's Blaze.
And this week we are not watching 2019's amazing Bong Joon-ho thriller, Parasite. We're watching 1982's Charles Band thriller, Parasite.
Experience the living, breathing, terrifying vision of modern 3D. Parasite. You have only seen the preview. In 3D, you will live the film. Parasite. The first futuristic monster movie in 3D. Parasite.
Is this a thriller? I think I would go more along the line of horror movie.
And bizarre sci-fi movie as well.
Change bizarre to bizarro because this is definitely one of those bizarro type movies. It's just like, it's kind of like a fever dream. The whole opening sequence is definitely what sets you off in that fever dream.
At first I thought my internet was glitching out. I was like, why is everything like in weird stop motion?
And this scene is never ending. It's going on forever.
Yeah. And was that a dream, or was that like, I guess that's actually what happens to him at the beginning of the movie.
I think it's when he's basically designing, I don't know. He's like getting infected, I guess, with this parasitic creature. This is Charles Band's, basically his interpretation of a modern day, at the time for 1982, a modern day 1980s monster movie. More along the lines of horror, but also I would think this movie really, kind of is more of a science fiction movie than anything.
I was really taken away, especially with that intro scene and what's it called, just like it plays off as like it's a dream, but then as you get to hear a story, but it takes like honestly 30 minutes for the story really to understand. I was like, where's our weird exposition for a B movie and stuff? Like we need this for a B movie or something, because I didn't this is a movie that we went in blind. I mean, we usually read the subtitles on Amazon Prime to kind of get an idea of what it's about, but this movie I just kind of just press play and just hope for the best. And I didn't know that it was supposed to be a dystopian future until we saw this weird, bizarre laser gun. When he saves the girl from being raped, and like right away when you start a movie with like a attempted rape scene, you're just like, oh God, what am I getting into? But then like, what's it called? But then he saves her, and then she gets mad at him for saving her, and then she rushes to the guy. I don't know if it was just like, I don't even want to get into what I think it was, but just like, he has a laser gun at the beginning. That's when I found, I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is a sci-fi futuristic weird movie.
And I have to say that was a little refreshing coming off, another Charles Band production. Like we watched for Direct to Dumpster was Endgame.
Right. Yeah.
And, Charles Band kind of knocking it out of the park with these 1980s movies that have similar titles to movies that are out in this current year in 2019. Right. Yeah. We got Endgame, we got Parasite.
Yeah.
What?
I'm looking at you, Kevin Feige. I'm looking at you. I know what you're about.
He's just ripping off Empire Pictures, Charles Band's Full Moon Productions.
Thor, Evil Bong.
Yeah, exactly. That's the next one. Because Evil Bong, Charles Band, I would say one of the greats right there. So, looking at some of the other movies we talked about this year on Direct to Dumpster, there's two usual suspects I have in mind for, most appearances on Direct to Dumpster. And that's going to have to be Corman and Charles Band.
Right.
Charles Band, obviously, this is his directorial appearance because we've got a lot of his productions from Full Moon Pictures. And now we're getting him as a director. This is with, a film company that soon dissolved after, the failure of Parasite. Parasite got written up terrible reviews for being, just a schlocky B movie. And this kind of, I think, made Charles Band kind of realize where his talents were, maybe more in the production arm, or creating his own studio to maybe not have to deal with studio or film studio notes, basically. And he would have all the creative control with Full Moon Pictures.
I felt like this movie did need a few notes. It was a little hard to watch. Our protagonist is not so much the best looker, I'd say.
No, he is not a leading man. I think the closest thing you could come to like somebody that's like him that is a leading man in some films throughout the 80s is Lance Hendricks.
Right.
I think that's as close as you can get. But but Pumpkinhead didn't do, terribly well because Lance Hendricks was in that driver's seat in the lead role. So
and just like he's just overall kind of just a boring character. I felt like he's a scientist. He created this parasite to keep humanity in order apparently, but it messed him up, and now he's on the run, and they're trying to figure this weird stuff out, and just like there's just like all these weird so the plot with him is just he's on the run. This group called the Merchants are after him, and then there's this crazy leader, and then there's also weird redneck gangs after him for just other reasons, just for like typical like Mad Max, like things are running low on supply.
Yeah, I was gonna say this movie definitely plays the Mad Max post-apocalyptic card, but it has like the elements of laser guns. And was there a laser? I swear there's like a laser sword type thing, or is like a pen.
Yeah, it was
like
that pen that the main guy from the Merchants, his car was badass looking, not gonna lie. But yeah, and then
I like those elements because I feel like when you think about laser guns or laser knives or scalpels, sword type weapons, you really only think about Star Wars. It's pretty much where all that stuff belongs now. If you want it in a movie, it's gonna have to be a Star Wars movie. So it's cool to see it in a different element. Obviously, this film doesn't capitalize on any of that very well. And the laser gun, it's not like cheesy or anything. I don't think it was like badly done.
Right.
It just, I don't know. It's there.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting ideas, but the creature itself, this parasite, like, of course, there's some crazy gore effects, like the laser. The first time we see it goes to that old guy's hand, the coffee guy, and then what's it called? And then when we see the parasite attacking that one, that gang girl's leg and stuff, like that's like your first big reveal of it. I felt like. And it was pretty gross. Yeah, it's just a gross looking thing. It reminded me of the creature from Terror Vision overall, where just like it, not so much in looks, but just a lot of teeth and just like gross, and like it's kind of well made, but also just really cheesy and like not too inspirational. I felt like
to me it kind of looked like an anglerfish. Like essentially, I think that was probably their inspiration. But overall, for me, like when it comes to this movie, I just feel like it shouldn't have been called Parasite. It honestly should have just been called Indigestion.
Right, yeah.
Because the whole movie, you have this lead character who's just like
constipated,
like all the time. Like he's like gonna give birth almost. Yeah. He's gonna give birth a stomach ache or something.
And I wasn't sure if like, is he the leading man where he's just like an overall good guy, or is like Demi Moore his love interest? Like, fun fact, Demi Moore, this is her first big major role in a film, and just like there was no chemistry between them. And also another movie where the dub was terrible too. Just like, I'm so sick of watching these movies where just like we'll redub everything, and just like it looks so obvious and it sounds terrible. And
and it's funny because there are movies like Italian movies that are redubbed in English that I think the dubbing's even better than some of these these B movies. Like I'm thinking of Demons specifically, or even maybe Suspiria.
Yeah, where like you can tell it's dubbed, but at least it matches. It sounds like it could be the voice. You're just like, oh, that sounds weird, but whatever. But these are just like, oh, it doesn't match, like the mood, like the tone doesn't match the actual mood of the scene. It's just awkward.
And most recently, I think like last month, actually, Demi Moore said this was the worst movie that she was ever in.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
She referenced Parasite. I think it might have been also on the piggybacking off of Bong Joon-ho's masterpiece.
Okay, right on. That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to check that interview out.
So I think when it comes down to it, this movie is fun to see Demi Moore in her first starring role. But
I suppose, she's very pretty.
It's just like she's stunning to look at. Like I think she obviously had a great career after this movie. This kind of kickstarted that. But this movie kind of fails on all cylinders of being that futuristic kind of monster movie. It's just it doesn't hit any marks, and I think we have to thank for it the other movies. We've enjoyed some Full Moon Pictures movies on Direct to Dumpster. This is not one of them.
Right, absolutely not. Leave it in the dumpster. It was a fun find, and like it was cool to watch like the original Parasite after the amazing Bong Joon-ho movie that came out recently. But let's just forget about it. We have a new Parasite. Like that's the Parasite that should be remembered, I suppose. Not that they're related.
They're not related at all. But if you were to think that maybe the most recent Parasite is a remake of this Parasite, and you found this video, sorry to inform you, they're not related whatsoever. This movie just has the same title. And I think it's actually good that they're not related whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, don't watch this movie. Leave it in the dumpster. Go to the theater now. Go check out Parasite while it's still playing. You're going to enjoy it.
And that is going to conclude this week's episode. Thank you so much for checking us out, guys. We really appreciate the support. Best way to help us out, though, is by watching Parasite itself on our Amazon affiliate link in the description box below.
Smash that like button and make sure you subscribe. Best way to get our content delivered straight to you is by clicking that notification bell.
Drive-By Movies concluding this week's episode of Direct to Dumpster. Be sure to check us out next Thursday with another new episode.